Okay, I'm going to bring to order the meeting, August 14th meeting of the Green Bay Sexual Offenders Residency Board. First, I'd like to start off with approval of the agenda. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, need a motion for approval of our minutes from our July 10th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it, but I will abstain from voting since I wasn't here.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, our first appeal today is with Stephen Hammerud. You want to come up, sir? Have a seat. Okay, Mr. Hammond, you're here to see your appeal to move to 1114 Stewart Street in Green Bay, is that correct? Okay. As we go through your appeal today, I just want to make sure that if we talk about your case, you don't refer to any of your victims in the first person, or if they were a son or daughter, just say refer to the person as the victim, okay? Second thing is, if we want to talk about any of your treatment programs, you have the right to do that either in a private session or in a public session. Are you okay with a public session, or do you want to move to a private session?
Public's fine.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll start off with, looks like your crime here was for child pornography. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were convicted in May of 2016? Or offense date was in May of 2016, convicted in September of 16?
Yes.
Okay. How did it come to light that you were found with this type of pornography?
I'm not sure. I think they were monitoring it or something.
Okay, so the officers just came to your home?
Yeah.
Okay. And when that happened and you went to court, did you fight it, or did you plead guilty?
I just took a plea deal.
Okay. So is that correct, officer?
As far as a plea deal, I guess I'm not sure as far as if you took a plea deal or not, but
Did you plead guilty to the offense?
There was no contest.
There was no contest?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
It's in the paperwork.
It is? Okay, I just wanted to verify from his notes. Okay. So, sir, did you understand that you were breaking law in viewing this type of material?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me why you did it?
Not really. It was just out of boredom, out of being alone. I know I got a divorce, so it was.
So, but you actively searched for that type of pornography?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have any more questions as it relates to the crime?
No.
Okay. How long have you been out, sir?
April 23rd of this year.
Okay. And were you at the TLP prior to this, or where were you at since you were released?
It was a TLP.
Okay. In looking at your treatment programs, looks like you haven't had a chance to complete any. Is that correct?
No, I am right now.
Okay. What are you currently in?
SO2, I think it is.
And who are you with?
The person that's doing it?
Yep.
His name is Pablo. With Hanger Industries, I believe it is.
Okay. Do you have any documentation that you're actually in that class?
No, they don't give you any until you finish it.
Okay. How long have you been in the class?
2 weeks. They just finally got me in.
Okay.
If I may, how did you know that you were accepted into the class?
My agent.
Okay, did he or she give you any paperwork regarding
No.
that?
She just tells me, call this guy up and set up an appointment with him, and then he emails her and tells her when I start. I go on Tuesdays.
Okay, so, and this is SO2, sex offender treatment for 2 or 1, the first one or second?
It's 2.
2.
So you've been in that course and meet once a week?
Once a week, yeah.
Is it a group session or individual
Such
session?
group, there's like 6 of us.
Okay.
And then I'm also working with my agent and everything too, so.
In what way?
Kind of the same thing. She gives me little assignments to do on, makes you know, per risk and stuff like that. And I gotta write out all kinds of stuff. And, like, this last one I had to do was write a letter to my mom and tell her about everything and how I'm doing and all that. Just little stuff like that.
Why do you think they're asking you to do stuff like that?
I think they do it for everybody. She has like this plastic big thing that goes through it. It's the 10 steps to success, I think it's called.
Why to your mother, if you know?
I don't know. She just told me to pick somebody to talk to write to.
Okay.
So she has me and my mom.
Okay. So are you currently employed?
Yes.
Where are you working?
Performance out in Seymour.
Okay.
I drive a yard truck. About 12 hours a day.
Okay.
120 hours every 2 weeks.
With your little time off, what are you doing?
Visiting with my mom.
Okay.
I help them around there, cut their lawn.
So are you gonna be living with anybody on Stewart Drive or not?
No, it'd just be me. Just a little one-bedroom apartment.
Excuse
Go
me,
ahead.
how do you get to work?
I drive. I use my mom's car right now until I can buy my own.
So are you at the TLP today yet or not?
No, I gotta stay in motels until I get, permanent place.
Okay.
So where are you staying right now?
The Village Inn. It's downtown. Pretty expensive. At least it's a roof.
Okay.
And where does your mother live?
Swamico. Little Swamico.
So just out of curiosity, why do you want to reside within the city of Green Bay as opposed to Swamico or somewhere closer to your
Well,
work?
Swamico is or where she lives is in a different county. And they want me to stay in Brown County.
Okay, but I mean, what I'm getting at is, how far do you have to drive to get to work? Is that-
About 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Did you live in Green Bay before?
Oh, Howard.
So, this is gonna be a real pointed question, so I'm gonna kind of give you what my viewpoint is right now. So you've come out of incarceration, you have a job, you have started SO2 training, although we don't have any documentation as to if you really are or not.
Yeah, I asked my agent if I needed any, and she just told me no.
Well, they know better than that.
And she just said that, until you finish it, they don't give you it.
No, that's really not the case. A lot of times, almost everybody will say, hey, I'm currently enrolled, in this training, and I'm done 3 sessions, or how many sessions of 16 or 32 or whatever it is, and they give a little synopsis as to how you're doing so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of surprised your agent said that. But so again, so tell us why we should take a risk on you living in the city of Green Bay based upon your current status, where you just got let out, you haven't had a lot of sexual offender training, and from the testimony you've given today, I don't really see, any understanding yet why you did what you did or what kind of drove you to that. So, why should we let you live in Green Bay?
Well, I don't believe I'm gonna be a problem. I mean, this is a one-time thing. I didn't have any contact. It was a stupid thing to do. It's like, you don't know why you do stuff, you just do it. And
Well, I think that's part of the risk profile here that I'm looking at is that if you don't have an understanding of why you've done something like this, because you did hurt somebody, some child had to go through the victim stance of, going through taking pictures or a video or whatever it may be. So there's a victim here, and then that victim's a victim because there's a market for that type of stuff, and
Mhm.
people like you watching it create that market. So you can say that, I didn't go out and, have sex with a minor, but you contributed to somebody having
Oh,
sex
yeah,
with a
I
minor.
know.
So when,
And I
when you,
feel-
when you say you don't have an understanding reason why, I'm leery as to, are you gonna fall back doing this again if you're bored, or are you gonna take it to a different level? So I'm trying to find a reason why I should take a risk. I can't
Well,
speak
that's-
for other folks here, but.
That's what my agent's working with me, and so I don't go back into that. She's, telling me to make sure I go to family functions, hang out with family, talk to people. She's been helping pretty good with that. So that's what I've been doing, I hang out with my mom, my parents, my sister. And
Okay.
I work a lot, so.
Do you have any children?
2 or 3, they're all grown.
Are any of them in Green Bay?
2 of them are.
Okay. And do you have a relationship with them?
Oh, I talk to them quite a bit, yeah.
Okay. And are they aware of why you went to prison?
Oh, yeah.
Are they supportive of you?
Oh, yeah.
And in what way have they been supportive of you?
Well, they just help me out with, they talk to me, and they don't agree with what I did, but, they're not gonna shun me or whatever, I guess you could say. They didn't approve of it, but they're supportive, it's-
Are either of them here today?
No, they both have to work. I got my parents here.
Okay. Is there any more questions for him?
No.
No.
Okay, does anybody want to speak either for Mr. Lemerond living at this location? Sir, if you just want to give us your name and your address when you come over and sit down, sir.
Oh, my name is
He's
Keith
hard.
Dugan,
Okay?
and I don't hear so well.
And where do you live, sir? What's your address?
634 East Frontage Road, Lot 86 in Little Swamico.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
what is your relationship to Mr.
I'm
Lemerand?
Steve's stepdad.
Okay.
Yeah, I married his mom when he was 4. so-
Okay. All right, go ahead, sir.
Well, the only thing I can say is I've known Steve a long time, since he was 4 years old, and I've never known him to do a bad thing. I honestly can say I've never even heard him say a swear word in his entire life. I haven't, and I know that's not a reason, but it tells me something about his character, so. All I can tell you is I love him. He's my stepson, but he's also my son, so.
Yeah, he's pretty much been my, little dad, I guess you could say.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts? Why do you think he did what he did?
I'm not sure. I've never really asked him, but I think it could have been loneliness. Him and his wife separated, and he didn't have a woman in his life anymore.
But why would he go to the age that he did?
But
Why would he do child pornography?
I don't know. I don't know that he knew they were children, that they were underage.
Oh, yeah, I knew.
Pardon?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's,
Do you think he's learned his lesson?
I do, I really do.
Why do you believe that?
Because I know Steve's character, and I know that, I just believe it in my heart, I guess.
Have you talked to him about it?
Um,
Anything about what happened and his conviction and going to prison? Have you discussed any of that with him?
Yeah, but, not in a whole lot of depth.
There's more of my mom, like I said, he's hard of hearing, he's hard to talk. You really gotta talk pretty loud, but, just.
Yeah, he talked to his mom a lot, so maybe she can shed more insight, so. you know.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time then.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you
right.
for hearing me.
Yep. Is there anybody else? Come on, ma'am. Hello, can I just have your name and address again?
I'm Carla Dugan, I'm Stephen's mother.
And your address?
634 East Frontage Road, Lot 86, Little Swamico.
Okay, go
Could I
ahead.
share a letter that he wrote to me?
Absolutely.
And maybe it'll explain a lot.
When did you receive the letter?
Last week,
Okay.
when he had homework to do that his agent told him to do.
Got it.
Okay. Well, I tell you,
And he-
as I'm reading, why don't you tell me a little about the letter so everybody can kind of hear?
Oh,
Yeah.
it just told me how sore he is and he knows what he did, you know, he was wrong and he paid for the price for it and now he wants a second chance because he knows he'll never do this again and he's sorry for what he put us through because we basically had to support him and do it now, you know. We're letting him use our car so he can go back and forth to work. And then he comes over on weekends and he helps us out and takes us grocery shopping, whatever, you know.
Okay.
So, and he works 12 hours, sometimes 6 days a week, you know, and he works very hard. And the rest of the time he's home sleeping and then he gets up, comes over to our house, has supper and goes to work. That's basically what he does all the time,
Mhm.
so.
Do you think that, I mean, because of his current work schedule, you know, one of the things he stated was, you know, he was lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he, you know, downloaded this child pornography. Do you think that there's a risk of that happening again because, you know, he's working so much and he's kind of isolating himself from the standpoint he's going to be living alone again?
No, there's no doubt in my mind that he'll ever do that again, not after the letter I got and how, you know, I think he's really learned and we keep him busy so he doesn't have, you know, with sleeping and working, he really doesn't have time, you know.
I don't even use the internet or anything. I don't have a computer.
He's got a flip phone, you know, so he can't, you know.
I
So
actually enjoy the flip phone. I don't have to sit there and get text messages all the time from people.
Okay. Or is there anything else you'd like to share?
I know that was, I just wanted to share the letter, you know, that he really put his heart and soul into what he wrote. And it, you know, I just love my son and I know that if, you know, he has no other place to go but to get his own place because he's not allowed to live with us because we live in O'Connell County.
Okay. All right.
Is there anybody else want?
Nope,
Thank you.
that's not it.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any more questions before I ask for a motion?
No.
I have one question. So you are divorced, you said, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2011.
Okay. I don't know if there is such a thing, but is it a friendly divorce? I mean, are they,
Oh, yeah, we're still real good friends.
Okay.
We talk. Even my
So it's-
mom and my ex-wife hang out together. Sometimes they go to dinner.
okay, so the kids and everybody can all get along?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
We're all real good.
okay. That's all I have.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion in regards to Mr. Lemerond?
I'll make a motion. I'm taking a risk, but I'm counting on you. I'll make a motion to approve for 90 days. And when you come back, we want to see how you're doing. We want proof of that you're in those classes, how you're doing. And,
Oh, yeah, I'll get it my next class on Tuesday. I'll ask
okay.
him
No.
to write something.
We want whoever the instructor is, like you said, Pablo or something.
Yeah, his name's I don't know his last name. She just gave me Pablo.
But to see how you're participating and what's going on with that too, but we do need proof.
Yeah, see, she didn't tell me I needed proof. I even asked her if I need anything, and she,
Right, I'm assuming this is address specific?
Address specific, you know, for 90 days.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the board to approve with Mr. Lemerond for 1114 Stewart Avenue, address specific for 90 days. Stewart Street, I'm sorry. For a term of 90 days in which you have to come back in front of us and have recent documentation as to how he's doing in his class, how many times he's attended, from the provider that he's going through. So we're ready to vote?
Motion fails 2-1.
Okay, sir, you've been denied to live at 1114 Stewart Avenue in Green Bay. My suggestion for you is, because you were not approved, doesn't mean you can't come back to the board at a future date to whether it's this location or another particular location if it's within the city of Green Bay. I think that what you gotta do in the future is, when you come back, is provide that documentation as to where you're at in your class, and how you're doing, and that may have influence on the board to approve you to a permanent location at this time. So, does anybody else have anything else to say to him?
No, I just would feel more comfortable. I know if you showed proof that you've been attending and have been working on some of the why this all happened.
Okay.
All right? Okay, again, you can apply again anytime in the future, so again, even, 30 days or 60 days from now, you can come back again and give us that documentation. And I can't guarantee that it will be approved, but that would give us more information as to, where you're at.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Next up is Mr. David Koopman. Okay, Mr. Koopman, looks like you want to move to 709 Pine Street, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And you're currently living in Oconto Falls, correct?
yes,
All right. Your conviction looks like, conviction date was in 2004, second-degree sexual assault of a 13-year-old, correct?
yes.
All right. Couple things as we go through your case, you can just refer to the person as the victim, by a personal name or an affiliation. And then if we want to talk about any treatment programs, you have the right to do that either in public session or private session. Are you okay with public session or not?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So first, why don't you tell us a little bit about your conviction and what happened?
How it all came about, I guess, was I was living in a blended family, and the troubles of a blended family, those things, a lot of alcohol use, a lot of drug use, and, I think I saw an opportunity, and I acted on it.
Okay. Did you actually have sexual intercourse with the victim or not?
No, I didn't.
What did you do to her?
Touching.
Okay. Did she end up telling another adult, or how did it come out that you did this?
And she had gone to school, and she was having trouble. She was having a lot of trouble in school, those kind of things. And she had gone to school and said something to one of her counselors.
Okay. When it came out, how did you plead?
Not guilty,
Okay.
and being in the state I was in, drug and alcohol use, I thought that I could manipulate my way through this and through the court.
Okay. So today, are you saying that you actually did what you were convicted of?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so you're looking to move to, well, actually, before I go there, any more questions about the incident? Okay. So right now, you want to move from Oconto to Green Bay. Tell me why you want to move to Green Bay.
What I'm doing now, I'm actually staying at 709 Pine Street, but I'm only there a couple days a week, so it's actually not my permanent residence. And I stay in O'Connell Falls the majority of the time, but because of work, and the load of work and me having to stay down here without driving back and forth, I would like to make this my permanent residence as 5 days a week, and then I go back on the weekends to O'Connell Falls.
Why do you go back to Oconto Falls on the weekend?
That's my family. I have a son down here, which I have a lot of contact with. Obviously, he's older now, 32 years old, but and that's where I have a girlfriend in O'Connell Falls for 11 years now. So we have a good relationship, and my daughter is in Seymour, so that's kind of in between, with me working down here and O'Connell Falls. So I'm able to see her a lot yet, and my other son is in Crockle, so we're able to still get our fishing and that stuff.
I have a question too.
Mhm.
Your son's here, one of your children is here in Green Bay, correct?
No.
Oh, your son is not here in Green Bay?
I'm sorry, yes, my oldest one.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have friends in Green Bay?
And I do, and they're work friends. I have a really good relationship with the people I subcontract with, D3 Builders, and I have a good relationship with them, the family, and a lot of my oldest son's friends or family. We get together, we do basketball, do birthdays, so I know people through that way.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kim.
What county did this actually happen?
Oconto.
And you realized her age, obviously, the blended family thing. You realized she was 13, you were 44.
I'm sorry.
You realized her age,
I
I'm
did.
assuming?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Were you intoxicated?
At that time, I probably wasn't presently intoxicated, but I was going through everything that an addict goes through, that way of thinking, that way of acting, the way of being reasonable about things, and is that my excuse? No. That's not my excuse. My act to the victim was incomprehensible. It changed her life forever, and obviously it changed mine also.
And I was looking through the documentation you provided. You did have some intervention or counseling while you're in prison,
Yes.
alcohol, and wasn't this, did you complete the SOT? When you're, or maybe asking this a different way. Since prison, have you had any additional counseling or anything like that?
When I actually went to Chippewa Valley Correctional Facility, and that was a treatment, 6-month treatment program, in-house, AODA every day. And so as far as my sex offense, I hadn't had any of that treatment yet until I got out. Then I had SOT treatment for, I believe, 2.5 years. And I completed that at Peshtigo, what am I trying to look for? Appeals Office.
Okay.
So do you have any documentation that you completed sex offender training?
I don't have any documentation, and I don't know how to get that documentation. I kept everything I did from 2004, and, you know, I know I have it somewhere.
Okay. So you do have documentation? just
I
not
do have
found.
documentation, and it's not something I have up on the wall or anything.
Right,
I
get-
don't
I get
have
that.
it with me.
I get
You're
that.
right.
Right.
Are you currently having any additional counseling, anything?
No, I am, I'm very active in AA and NA. I have the privilege of going into the O'Connell County Jail on Tuesdays, and every Tuesday, and conducting the AA, NA meetings there. And I've been doing that for probably 10 years now. So as far as any...
Is that a volunteer thing, or?
It is, actually, they asked me to go, yes, it is, it is a
Okay.
voluntary thing, yes.
All right, any more questions for him?
How long have you been staying at the Pine Street address while you're down here? For work?
A couple days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, probably since, it's been years.
Okay.
So let me ask you this then. So what really brought you here today?
Are you ready? It's
I'm
a
ready.
long story.
Well,
Okay.
try to give me the cliff notes.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, the thing that brought this all together was, I kept in contact with Erica, SOT, have to fill out my papers every year, you know. I mentioned I was down here, and she goes, as long as you're only down there for a couple days a week, that's still your mailing address, that's your permanent address, you know, we're good. Any changes, let me know. So that's what I did. And being with work and everything else, this is all I do. But so then my victim, I had been helping her out in prison.
I'm sorry, but she's in prison, or when you were?
When she was in prison.
Okay.
And I had been helping her out from there. Her family just disowned her, and so I had been helping her out there, helping her out when she got out, and she needed a place to stay. So I offered up my place that she could, when I wasn't there, she could stay there. And she was staying there, between there and her boyfriend's house. Now she's 30 years old, so has a daughter. And I found out through the O'Connell County Police that there was some trouble with drugs there. And so I said, what would you like me to do about it? And they said, if you can stop her from staying there at all, that would be great.
Now, is this, okay, so, back you up. Is this, the victim was residing in your home in Oconto Falls?
In O'Connell Falls.
Okay.
And this was for staying there and then staying at her boyfriend's.
Okay.
And so I got her out of I went there, locked the doors, changed the locks, and she couldn't get back in. So then, and I'm staying here and then by my girlfriend's place. So, and then obviously the phone calls started. And I called my Erica at SOT, and she said, Dave, you gotta go in and get your permanent residence down here. And I
Okay.
said, okay, that's what I'll do.
We said phone calls. What kind of phone calls? I got.
Erica,
No, you said you started getting phone calls?
from the police,
Okay.
yes.
And what was that in regards to? Because you didn't say.
Drugs, I think selling and,
From his
Using-
place in O'Connell Falls, I think he's saying, not,
Right.
not
Okay.
here.
Okay.
right. So that's what I'm here doing now.
Okay. Any more questions for him? Anybody want to make a motion? I'm going to make a motion to approve Mr. Koopman at 709 Pine Street, address specific, so long as he provides documentation of employment in this area, as he indicates he is, as well as providing proof that he did his SOT training within 30 days. It's address specific as well. Is there a second? Okay, motion fails. Does anybody have any other motion they'd like to make?
I have a question. Mr. Koopman, when you were in Oconto Falls, when living there, well, let me back up. How long have you been working in Green Bay?
With D-Tree Builders, 7 years.
Okay. And during that period of time, have you been registering up in Oconto Falls?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And did your parole agent say anything to you about you having to register any place you reside?
I don't have a parole agent.
Okay.
I'm not under supervision.
Okay.
I'm not, this case is,
So you were off paper basically in
I'm off-
2009, it
I'm
looks like.
off of everything, yes. And so what she said to me was, if I reside there more than 3 days a week, it's my permanent residence.
Mhm.
So between here and I drove back and forth for a few years too, with work. The reason why I would stay down here is obviously that my employer owns the building and it's right next to the office, so that's why it's a convenience for me and driving and.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, does anybody else want to make a motion?
I'd like to say something if I could.
I just got to see if anybody wants to make a motion, and then I'll let you after the motion's made.
Not yet. Mr. Koopman?
No, you have more questions then, or?
No, he said he wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd just like to say that with me being sober for 14 and a half years now, and for that period before that, there was, how do I say that? A lot of victims, not sexually, but a lot of people I hurt. A lot of people that, I hurt my family, I hurt my kids, I hurt everybody that could ever be involved in someone that does drugs. The ripple effect is unbelievable. And this is part of what's gotten me where I am today, at sober for 14 and a half years. And I believe those 12 steps that I do every day that's how I live now. And I don't see any other way of living. I know what I need as far as I know the how do I say this? The pill I need to take to keep me from using. to keep me from, away from that, away from the bad things that affect me. And that is for meetings and that, for AANA, SOT treatment.
If I may, do you attend meetings down here?
I do not. I do the meetings every Tuesday up there in O'Connell. I don't do any meetings here. At the beginning of my sobriety, I did do a few at the Jackie Nitschke Center. And that's how I feel right now as far as 14 and a half years. I at least need that jail meeting is so important to me that because it wasn't that long ago that I was sitting in that same color on that side of the table. And I actually get to do the meeting with the guy, one of the guys that got me on the way to sobriety was sitting right there, and and I was wearing the orange. So it means a lot to me to do that, and it means a lot for my amends, and it's just a different way of treating people.
Okay. All right, does anybody actually want to speak for or against him at this location? Okay. All right, does anybody want to make a motion unless there's any more questions?
After hearing more of what Mr. Koopman has been doing, the motion I'm going to make is address specific for 30 days, upon which the 30 days provide proof of your employment, SOT training, or treatment,
I'm with you.
and proof of the volunteer work you do?
Sure.
Okay. Something from that organization that explains how often you work with the people up there? Okay.
Sure.
All right, is there a second? I'll second that motion. So let's go ahead and take a vote.
Motion passes 2-1.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to 709 Pine Street for 30 days. So we're going to ask you to come back in 30 days at our next meeting and provide those 3 pieces of documentation. As long as you provide those 3 pieces of documentation, more likely than not, you'll be approved permanent at that location.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. Corey Merrifield. Merrifield, we're here to see, or to go over your appeal to move to 706 North Broadway, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And right now you're at the TLP?
Yes.
Okay. Again, as we start off, we're going to go over your case. And just to make sure you refer to the person as the victim, not by a proper name or affiliation. And then second of all, if we want to talk about any of your treatment programs, you're right to do either in public or a private session, which you prefer.
Fine, right here, sir.
Okay. All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened with your conviction?
That was a time of my life when it was all about me. I wanted what I wanted, and I didn't care who I hurt. And I enjoyed looking at pornography. No child porn, just adult. But it was to a point where it wasn't enough. I needed more, and that led me to include the victims in my crime.
Did you know the victim prior to?
Yes,
Okay. Was it in a trusted relationship?
yes.
Okay. How did it come about that this was became known to law enforcement?
The victim went to school, was speaking with a friend, and they went to the school counselor and told them.
Okay, all right. And how did you plead when this got to court?
I pled no contest because I did not want to put my victim through a trial.
Okay, so in your mind, you did do this, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
There's no doubt.
okay. And did it happen on more than one occasion?
Yes.
How long did it occur, over what time frame?
It happened one summer approximately 3 times.
Okay. So you indicated that, that doing pornography wasn't enough, and so, you moved on to this. So what in your mind justified it?
Again, it was all about me. And I wanted what I felt I wanted, it wasn't any more than that. And I figured it wouldn't hurt nobody, and I was thinking of myself completely.
Okay. In terms of the way he describes the case, is that how the record reads?
Yes.
Okay. Does the record indicate at all if he was remorseful, or the victim said anything in terms of, how long he should have been incarcerated, or how bad the incident was? Go ahead.
You said should be incarcerated?
No, yeah, in other words, did she say, she wanted the maximum sentence, or, in terms of a victim statement or anything like that?
I
I don't know if that's in the record or not.
don't know. Okay.
That's not it.
Okay, okay, all right. So I'm assuming at this point you have no relationship with the victim?
I cannot right at this moment, no. Through terms of my probation, through my agent.
Okay,
I'm looking to mend that. And I'm working towards that with my agent.
all right.
How old is your victim now?
Right now, my victim is 16.
So you said you started viewing porn, adult porn.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you go after a child? What's the thinking here?
Just the thought of having somebody watch. That's how it started. I just wanted someone to watch me while I masturbated. Plain and simple. That's how it started.
Were you married at that time?
Yes.
And it says here that, are you still married?
Yes.
Okay, so in terms of, are you gonna be living with your wife at this location?
No, I will be living alone. Eventually, I do want to move home to be with my wife. That's my goal in
Okay.
time. But I can't do that at this moment because of the victim.
Okay, all right. Are you currently employed, sir?
Yes, I am. I work through Kelly Services out at Gray Bar in De Pere. They are looking to hire me on full-time. As soon as my, 90 days is up through Kelly Services contract, and they want to hire me on full-time.
Okay.
Are you receiving any counseling, any group?
I completed the SO2 training, or treatment at Oshkosh Correctional. I did not get documentation because I've completed 2 weeks prior to my release. So I never got documentation. I can get that for you if you need it. I require no further treatment needs. But I am seeing a counselor on my own through Power for Change. I'm going every other week right now just to kind of help keep me on where I need to be.
So what did you learn in SOT training?
I learned how to think of others. I learned empathy is one of the biggest things I learned. I learned it's not about me, it's not about what I want, it's about the bigger picture. And I have to look at how whatever my action would be, good or bad, can affect others down the road. And even if it's something, for me personally, good, it's not illegal or whatever, You know, even just taking a job, how will it affect other people? So I look at all aspects of every situation before I make a decision.
Okay. So, tell me why we should let you live in Green Bay, in your words.
Well, the big thing is I need to leave the TLP. My time is up there. I need a place to reside. I grew up here. I've lived here basically my whole life. I put on the paper prior was 5 years, but I have lived here my whole life. Minus a few years here and there I might not have, but I grew up in Green Bay. I graduated from Green Bay West High School. I'm familiar with the city.
It lists, in the paperwork you submitted, lists your support,
Mhm.
Barb, your wife, your parents,
Mhm.
and your sisters.
Yes.
Does your wife reside in Green Bay?
No, she lives in Little Swamico right now. Eventually, that's where I do want to be with her.
And you work in De Pere, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, a question for you. You stated that you are no longer required to have any treatment?
Yes, I no longer need any more SO treatment.
Okay, and is that from your parole agent?
Yes.
But on your own, you decided?
On my own, I went to find counseling just to help me stay focused.
And how often do you see your therapist?
I see him every other week.
And without giving too much detail, was your wife aware of what happened and what caused you to be arrested?
After the fact, yes. That's where I failed as a husband. I should have went to her before any of this ever occurred with my thoughts to get things straight.
So other than the fact that, you know, you were raised in Green Bay, you know, what's the benefit to the community to take the risk on you?
I'm a person that stays to myself. I'm not going to be one that's going to be wandering out in the streets. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't frequent bars. I'm a homebody. I want to stay home. I want to have a place where my wife or my sisters and my parents can all come over. We can have a cookout. We can do whatever. But I'm not a threat in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Does anybody have any more questions of him? Any more questions?
Let's see. Mike, okay, so how often do you see your wife or your support, people who are your support?
As much as I can. It's difficult living at the TLP because now when I see my wife, we have to go somewhere. She can't come to visit, so we have to go shopping or we have to go to a restaurant and sit down and eat and spend money that I don't want to spend. Where if I can have a residence, she can come over and we can just sit down, I can make a nice meal and we can visit with my wife, my parents, my sisters, and whoever comes over. I speak to them daily. I talk to my wife every day. I text her continuously. My sisters, I talk to them 2 to 3 times a week at least. My parents, I talk to them every day as well. I stay in contact with them.
Okay. Anybody else?
Question, were you, when the crime occurred, were you under an addict of any sort?
None.
Okay.
No, I knowingly did what I did. I accept full responsibility for it.
My concern right now is that we don't have proof of anything, no documentation,
Right.
and because your support system is not far away, but still, and when you think about the triangle that you have, work in De Pere, live in Green Bay, your family members, your support are in Little Swamico, and you have your counselor, but we don't know anything about it. We don't know what, as far as, you said 2 times a week, taking you at your word, but I would prefer to see something from your therapist about how often you're seeing them, and what I don't need to know what the plan is,
Right.
but if there are any goals that you've set with the therapist to work on. And also, kind of troubles me is that, do you have any friends in Green Bay?
I have some friends from work. I'm trying to rekindle some friendships. You know, I've been incarcerated for 5 years, so I don't know a lot of people. But I am making friends through work, and, you know, it's starting to build that. It takes time.
And you've worked for this company, for the company, not the temp agency, but the actual company, for how long?
I work actually still for the temp agency. I work, I've been there
You work
over a
at
month.
their facility?
Yeah, I work at Gray Bar. It's been over a month. It's
Okay.
well over a month right now.
Okay.
And I know they already told me they do want to hire me full-time.
Okay. Does anybody want to speak either for or against him? And why don't you come on up? Could I just have your name and address for the record?
My name is Barb Merrifield, and I live at 634 West Frontage Road.
Okay, go ahead.
I am his wife. We will be married for 21 years this November. I do believe that he is sorry for what he has done. We have talked a lot through the 5 years that he was in prison. We've talked a lot since he's been out. And in my heart, I know that he knows what he did was wrong, and I don't believe that he would ever do something like that again, because he knows the price of what happens and what happened to him.
So you don't believe he's a risk to your family or anybody else?
I do not.
Did you think, prior to this all happening, did you think that your husband would have done anything like this?
No, I didn't, actually.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
no. Go ahead.
Are you in counseling together?
No.
We did do some counseling with our pastor, though, while I was out on bail. So,
I'm talking about someone who's trained as a therapist, not a spiritual advisor necessarily.
No.
that we have not, no.
Not together. I did therapy with the victim for a while, and they currently is seeing a therapist again, just to deal with the victim is having issues with having Corey back in Green Bay and not being able to see him.
And not being able to see him.
Correct.
Okay. All right, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I do hope that he's able to get a residence so that he has somewhere to live.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
Any other speakers?
Was there any other speakers? Sorry. Come on up, man. Have your name and address?
Lisa Lindell, 634 East Frontage Road, lot 91.
Okay, go ahead.
I am his older sister, obviously I've known him all my life. I don't believe that he is a risk to reoffend. I think he deserves this opportunity because he needs a place to live. I would take him in my home if I could. Unfortunately, I live in Oconto County, so I can't take him in. But if I had the opportunity, I would take him in my home. I have 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren, and I wouldn't be afraid of having him in my home at this point because I know that what he did was wrong, and he knows what he did was wrong. I believe he has full remorse.
Did you have a relationship with him when he was incarcerated?
I went to see him, is that what you're getting?
Yeah, yep.
Yes, sir. I did go and see him several times. Tried to get down once a month, but that didn't always happen. But usually once a month, on his birthday, my birthday, they have a really good restaurant down there, so that was always a bonus to go down for that, and visit with him for a while. Usually tried on Saturday mornings to bring my parents down because they're elderly and didn't want to drive down by themselves. So I was always trying to make sure that they had a ride down there as well.
Okay. All right, anything else you'd like to tell us?
No.
All right, thank you very much. All right, does anybody want to make a motion? Sir, I can tell you, I'm really kind of torn on this one. I do believe you have remorse. I believe that. I believe that, you know, you want to get your life going again. I do have some concerns with the fact that we don't have any proof of your training, as well as, you know, I applaud you for trying to go to some additional counseling, but again, kind of for we don't really know, have anything related to that, especially because your crime was pretty horrendous, and it was done multiple times. You know, I struggle with even giving you a temporary living at least until we see the documentation because of how horrendous your crime was. I think both people that testified on your behalf are credible, which again gives me pause here, but I'm struggling with what to go forward until I kind of see that documentation. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. I don't know what everybody else wants to say or if they want to make a motion.
My same concerns. You've only recently been released, and again, I believe that everyone, what they said was true, that they don't believe you would commit this crime again, but then also before they didn't expect you to commit that crime. Do you see what I'm saying?
So I guess the point, I guess, where, you know, on this form, just to, again, I kind of reiterate this to a lot of people, so you're not the first person. On the form, it says, you know, you need to bring documentation as to the training, or else, you know, it's actually underlined, you know, because at this point, you know, we're like, okay,
I never received documentation though from the SO program
I
because of, it finished literally just 2 weeks prior to my release.
I understand that, and so and again, I'm not a part of the system. You know, my only comment would have been is, you know, your parole officer has done this more than once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they know what we need, and I think the circumstance here, because again, you're currently were recently released, and based upon the severity of the crime, that's where I'm struggling to approve you even temporarily because of how bad your crime was and how recent it was. So unfortunately, that's where I'm kind of at right now. So, you know, to me is, again, you could reapply in 30 days, and if you got the documentation, that would help us tremendously, along with, you know, how you're seeing your counselor every other week right now in terms of what information they could provide and how you're doing. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna make a motion to deny you to this residence today.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
How soon do you think you could get that documentation to us?
I see my agent Friday morning. I could get a hold of him tomorrow and get it if need be for the SO, and I can get a hold of my counselor and have that within a week's time, no problem.
I mean, I understand that, but it's not gonna, if it's not gonna be here today for us to consider, it doesn't matter if, you'd have to wait till next month anyway to appear and bring everything with you. So,
Because it also would be important to understand what that report said, I think, in this case, or not.
Well, I could see where you're at, but honestly, I could see he feels remorse, and I think his family is very, very credible, and, you know, I think he realizes he made a big error, but I think he does deserve a chance too. I mean, maybe a very temporary chance. If he comes through with everything, gets that information to us as soon as possible. You know, we can even do 30 days if we can get it here that fast. And if we're not happy with that, well then. I feel he's been very honest and upfront.
I don't disagree from the honesty and remorseful side, because that's where I was at too.
Well, and his
my
family
concern is
too.
public safety.
Yep.
Well, I am certainly thinking of that too. I mean,
A lot of people have remorse, but it's not that the remorse, that's great, but what's the indicator? How do we know the likelihood of not reoffending?
We don't. Been doing this a long time now too, so I understand certainly. Wouldn't want that to happen.
Yeah, again, I guess just in this case, because, you know, if we were talking that this offense occurred 10 years ago, you know, and the source of documentation, and we saw no other record of additional crimes, you've been in a long-term job, I mean, there's other factors that would say that you're less likely to reoffend, and we could wait on, I could wait on the documentation.
May I speak?
Go ahead.
The offense actually happened almost 10 years ago. You know, it just came to light years after.
Yeah, I get that, but, I mean, I have no clue. I mean, you know, I never asked this question, but, I mean, because there's no way to prove it or not prove it, but, you know, you could have done this to other people, and they just never came forward, the victims didn't come forward. I don't know that. I don't know if that's true, not true, speculation or whatever. You know, it's just, I'm looking at the severity of the crime. So, you know, again, I would definitely like to read those reports before I feel comfortable in this case.
Okay, may I make a motion?
Oh, absolutely.
Move to deny but recommending that, you know, as soon as you have that information, reapply, send in your appeal so it can be heard. Right now, I know I don't have enough information to feel comfortable. I just don't.
Okay, so we have a motion to deny to 706 North Broadway Street in Green Bay. Is there a second? I'm going to second that motion. So let's go ahead and vote. So again, if you're answering yes, that's approving the motion to deny, just so everybody understands.
Still waiting on one vote.
I didn't get a vote.
Didn't come up?
Mm-mm.
Do you have to manually?
Sure.
Okay.
It's your vote. He's asking for
That's your
No.
vote. Okay. Motion to deny passes 2-1.
Okay, So, Mr. Merrifield, so our suggestion here is that our next meeting happens in 30 days. If you have that documentation ready, then I would bring it. It's real important, okay, from a standpoint of that existing counseling you're doing, that not only does it say, that how long you've been doing it, but to give us some sort of indication of what that counseling is about or what it's doing. Because just saying, I'm in counseling with this person for 5 sessions doesn't tell us a lot. So any more information they can give us as to how that's going would help your case tremendously. Okay? All right, thank you. Next up is Mr. Andrew Kaplan.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, Mr. Kaplan, I believe you are back.
Yes, I am.
You're back. And we're here to check your documentation as to see, how you've been doing.
I've been doing great. I'm in treatment. I go once a week to Kirkpatrick's and Associates Counseling here in Green Bay at the Micah Center.
Okay?
It deals with everything from the cognitive distortions all the way down to how we're not going to offend and what things we're going to do to prevent the offense from happening again. I'm working full-time. I just got hired full-time with the company that I was working with. Before I was working through a temp agency. So I just recently got hired on full-time, so I now get their benefits and get paid by them.
Okay.
So I'm no longer doing the food share or no longer doing the forward health, so I'm actually being a responsible adult.
Okay. How's relationships going in terms of your support that you have?
The support system is great. I continue to go to Circle of Friends. I continue to have contact with the VA, and I continue to check in with them and get help and advice. My agent and I get along great. I'm doing homework through them with the Book of Change I just finished, and we're working on appropriate activities that I can do to get my social life in order. I don't have much of one, but then again, what do you have after 20 years in prison? So I'm pretty much just getting reacclimated to normal life again.
Would you say you're happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I wasn't happy. The old me was not. That wasn't. I realized there's a lot of things, a lot of mistakes I made, a lot of people I hurt, and I'm glad that I am working through those things, and I'm glad that I'm out here and being able to prove to be a successful person again.
Is there anything that concerns you?
Sometimes, talking with people, sometimes, having to explain to some people why I went to prison, what I did, their reaction, but for the most part, most of those reactions have been supportive and helpful, and they see that I'm trying to become a better person, and they are helping me, giving me suggestions of things to do and stuff to keep myself busy.
Okay.
And
Good. Any other questions?
None.
Any questions? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
There are
Oh,
speakers.
so
Sure.
we have two.
Okay, sure. Someone wants to come forward?
Sure.
Sorry, I just need your name and address.
Thomas Beverly, 135 North Ashland Avenue, Green Bay.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry for coming late, I just had a client late, so, over to the Job Center, Department of Workforce Development. I was here 90 days ago or so.
Yeah, we were.
And there was some doom and gloom, kind of eerie, I don't know, and he had some good reports. And I came in, I told you, from what we assessed him at, I just had a feeling, because it was the first time I showed up, I said I'd come back 90 days later, and I think we're going to have a successful candidate. I said I'd come back. I'm back. So I can report to you, I've talked to the employee, the temp service agency we put him with. I've reassessed him since then. Temp service agency gave me a glowing report on him. Of the 17 people they brought on, he's their top person. They took the top 3 and they brought him on permanent. The rest, they let him go. So Andrew's still there. Since that time, he's gotten furniture from VetsNet.
Yeah.
He was there for the delivery. I get no negative feedback from his inspections at all. The employer is now part of the job service team. They want more people that they can kind of vet through, so we don't have to actually go through the temp service anymore. So Andrew's been a model in that way and helping us kind of move forward with some of the tougher cases. And, you know, sometimes, I'm telling you, you can be like a word mill. You can just go through here and grind through a dictionary real quick, throw a bunch of words out there and alphabet soup somebody to death because you really articulate well. But the fact is, it's what you do that's going to matter. And I don't think he's failed at any point. He's never missing a point. So.
Great,
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Does anybody else want to speak for or against him?
Eric Guyot, 2766 Viking Drive, Department 1C.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I co-facilitate with Circles of Support, and I just want to say, since I started the group, he's been one of our most consistent participants. He has been very candid about his experiences reacclimating to society, and not only that, he's very candid when talking to other group members, so we really appreciate having him there.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion in regards to Mr. Kaplan?
Motion to approve address specific. No, return date.
2241 Imperial Lane,
Yes.
number 4. Okay, is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Did that come up again?
No, nothing there.
So you vote?
Yeah,
Yes?
well, yeah, I approved
Okay.
it. I mean, I
Oh, you did?
I made the
Okay.
motion.
Okay. Then, motion passes unanimously.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to 2241 Imperial Lane, number 4, address specific, on a permanent basis. If you do move again, you will have to come in front of us if you move within the city of Green Bay. Good luck to you.
Understand. Thank you.
Yep.
Everything else is working on it, but it's not coming out. I did the first time.
Next is Mr. Christopher Oatman. All right, Mr. Oatman, let me just get back to the bottom here, just getting some stuff from you two today. Okay, so we're looking for documentation as to your attendance and number of sessions and progress on your treatment report. Before you give it to me, I have to ask again if you are okay with we do this in public session or private session. Public is fine? Okay. Go ahead, sir, what do you have for us today?
This is with my counselor, I guess you call him.
Okay. All right, this is from Kirkpatrick and Associates.
This is what I was telling you about last time. Showing my homework and stuff like that. I just haven't done nothing from him until now.
Okay. Okay, so tell us how it's going.
Good.
Treatment, tell us what you're learning.
Everything. I'm doing book reports right now about kind of, I guess, change in my life of what I was doing in the past and how I'm adapting to it now instead of just kind of doing the same stuff with the change. So now I'm kind of noticing the change and stuff, and I'm progressing with it instead of like trying to fight it and go against it and stuff.
Okay, give me an example.
My example is opportunities, like now being a sex offender, I can't go to parks, I can't do a lot of things. So that was my thing that I cannot change. I can't do nothing, so I have to move with it. So I have to find other things that I enjoy and need to do.
Okay. So what are you doing to get some enjoyment out of life?
Right now, I call my mom pretty much every day. She bought me some parakeets for my birthday, so I play with them and stuff during the day, have them on all the time and stuff. I work third shift, so I sleep during the day. I see my PO in the mornings, and then I go to group in the evenings. I like playing video games. My PO had taken my video game because it gets Wi-Fi, but now I just seen her yesterday or whatever, and she said I'll probably get it back in like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's kind of a positive thing. So.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm doing like Bible studies, and I enjoy like sports and stuff, like doing stats and stuff. So I got a lot of books and stuff that I want to read and do all that stuff.
Okay. Questions for him?
None.
Anybody want to speak for or against him? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve address specific, 1206 Marshall Avenue.
1730
Badger.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's the next one.
Oh, I am the wrong one. Thank you. Address specific, whatever that address is.
1730 Badger Street, apartment number 2.
There you go.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Anybody want to take a bet if her vote comes up? Oh, did.
All right. Don't scare me.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to 1730 Badger Street, apartment 2, address specific. If you do move again or want to move within the city limits in Green Bay, you'd have to come in front of us again. Okay, good luck to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Next up is Mr. Michael Pergo.
Pergo?
Pergo.
Nobody gets it right. Ever.
Ever?
Not very often.
Okay, let's get back to where we're at here. Okay,
The right one.
okay, so, sir, we wanted you to bring documentation of your in-treatment restriction information and verification of employment.
I do have the treatment
Okay.
that was completed in Lansing, in Kansas. I do have a job, I just, for some reason, spaced off that I was supposed to bring documentation for it. I work full-time at Festival Foods, stocking shelves, third shift, over on Stevens Court.
Is it here?
No, in,
Oh.
Green Bay.
Oh, yep,
yeah,
okay.
east side.
East side.
East side, yeah.
As far as treatment goes, my PO says that with me being as low risk as I am, she's not recommending anything. I've been working since basically I got hired July 8th. So all I do is I work and sleep. I haven't been doing a whole lot. I'm working on a game plan to give me a little more freedom as far as being able to do things, go fishing, stuff like that. I do have 3 chaperones, my mother, my brother, and his wife. So I'm always, if I do decide to do something, it does have to be okayed by her.
Are you on any tracking?
No, sir.
Okay.
No. According to the courts, I'm pretty much as low risk as possible.
All right.
I was determined by them with the tests that I've taken and stuff like that, that I'm a low threat to reoffend.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions for him? Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve him to 1206 Marshall Avenue.
I do have my mother here, but I don't know if we need to speak with her or not. But
I don't think so, unless we have any issues here.
Okay.
1206 Marshall Avenue, address specific. So long as you bring to the city verification of employment within
Okay.
2 weeks.
Done.
Okay? That's my motion.
As far as, what, just
Just
a pay stub?
Pay stub.
or- Okay.
Yep, pay stub will work.
I'll get it printed off somehow.
I didn't get it to ask this, and you may have addressed it, but I was looking through my notes. Are you in counseling anymore?
I'm not. I actually, and I talked to my PO about it, and she said that she's not gonna issue me any.
Now, who's the PO here?
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually asked her either last week or the week before because I wanted to know if that was something I had to get going. And she said with me being the threat that I was as far as a low threat, she wasn't gonna issue me to do anything.
Okay, so have a motion to approve him so long as he brings in documentation of employment within 2 weeks. Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Do I bring that to you guys?
Bring it to the law office in here.
Second floor.
Second floor.
But we'll just hold off on sending out the approval letter until we receive that.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion to approve address specific. We vote.
Motion passes 2-1.
Okay, sir, you've been approved to this location. So long as you bring that documentation within 2 weeks, a letter will go out. If you don't, you will be automatically denied and asked to move.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
All right.
I don't wanna go back to Kansas.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great evening. So second floor?
Second floor.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is Bobby Rudd. Okay, Mr. Rudd, just give me a second here to bring up your information. Okay, Mr. Rudd, what we're here today is kind of get an update of how things are going for you. So tell me over the last 90 days what's been happening.
I'm just working, having a hard time saving money, the fees of the hotel, of course. So I'm looking to find either a better paying job where I can save some money or pick up a second job.
So
Pretty soon.
let me ask a quick question. 2625 Humboldt Road, that's where you're staying right now,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Is that like the Tower Motel?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I definitely understand that. Okay. So where are you working at right now?
Eileen's Candies.
Heinz Candies, okay. And how you get in there, taking the bus or?
No, I drive.
You drive, okay. Okay. Besides working there, what are you doing socially?
Well, I hang out with a little family, friends. Spend a lot of time with my children most of the time.
Okay.
I have a lot of ex-in-laws here. That's usually who I'm around. I don't have any blood relatives here.
Okay, and how old are your children again?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. Okay. So, go
I
ahead.
guess I want to make sure I understand this and not. So you're requesting to move to the Tower Motel?
I'm already there.
He's
You're
already
already there?
Yep.
Okay, stay there.
I'm here for an update.
Yep.
No, well, I mean, technically, because it was only approved for a specific time period.
Yes.
Are you looking to find a more permanent
Yeah, with being able to save more money, I can start looking for a place. Because presently, I'm not able to save anything.
Okay.
So you're kind of, I think what we're saying is, obviously the Tower Motel's not really where you want to be.
No. I've been working with a landlord usually on weekends because I do masonry work, and he said that he may have something coming available in De Pere in mid-October. So
Okay.
I'm trying to pick up extra job or find a better paying job in order to be able to have security and deposit if that opportunity is presented.
Okay. All right, understand, that makes sense. So, does anybody else have any more questions for him?
I don't.
right, does anybody want to make a motion?
Can I have just one moment? please?
Absolutely. I hate, to be honest with you, I hate to approve you only because this is just, I wish you had a better place to go to. Not because, you know.
It's a lot less expensive.
Yes. Yes.
310.
This is a rough, expensive roof.
And I'm trying to remember, based on your last time here, are you seeing anyone for treatment of any sort?
I've had treatment through family services.
Did or did?
I did.
Okay.
It should be on the record.
Okay, I'm just trying to find out, I'm not used to, I keep hitting the wrong button too. And
Maybe you need glasses.
I've had
I'm like-
sex offender treatment, anger management, thinking for a change, and doing my time in prison. I also acquired a masonry diploma.
Okay. And is that what you're going to pursue?
Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully something more of a residential rather than commercial because of the seasonal layoffs. So I
Okay.
went through that last year when I was working with C.D. Smith, and I was kind of forced to work through temp agencies because I hadn't been on the job long enough to enjoy any type of unemployment or anything. So that's kind of I'm hoping for something better.
Okay. Your last, okay, so the most recent conviction was for the burglary, correct? No, not
Aggravated battery.
battery, I'm sorry, aggravated battery. And you had an OWI in '07.
Yes.
Did you receive any treatment for that?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to get my license back until I hit it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a $793 fine.
One more thing, the victim's age was 13/16?
It was 2 victims.
2 victims, okay.
They both took place on the same day, were 2 females that I did not know and haven't seen since.
Okay. No further questions?
All right, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, address specific.
2625 Humboldt Road?
Plan, yeah, that's what I was looking for, 2625 Humboldt Road. Period of, because you know, until you find something else, I guess, right?
It can be permanent, but I hate to have it permanent.
That's why I didn't want to say permanent.
No, it'd be permanent, so then if he moved within the city limits, he'd have to
Okay,
come back
yeah.
to us again.
Yeah, okay.
That's just,
That's just
that's
normal
just.
process.
No, I'm not, well, that's a normal process, but
Just sounds
that's,
weird.
at least he's found a place
Yeah,
for continuity,
right,
or consistency.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm looking to try to get the department closer to work.
okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Was it a motion to approve?
Yes,
Motion to
yes,
approve, yep.
yeah.
Okay, I think you
Right.
just said a motion, address specific.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay, motion to approve.
so is there a second?
seconded.
Kathy, did yours pop up?
Oh.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
All right, sir, you've been approved to 2625 Humboldt Road. Address specific, if you do decide to move someplace within the city limits of Green Bay, you have to come back to us, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Wolford. Okay, sir, you're back here and we're looking for documentation of attendance within your treatment program. Again, if we discuss it, we can't do it in a public or private session.
Public thing.
Okay.
So I just started August last week was the first group session.
Okay.
It took a little going back and forth for the third party with my PO, so we had to figure out a time that would work because I start school in 2 weeks. So trying to figure out work, group, and school took a little finagling to get a group that was gonna work, so.
Okay, okay.
And then I have notes from group, I don't know if you guys wanted to look at it or.
So right now, I'm assuming, since you just started, you maybe attended two sessions?
2 sessions, yeah.
2 sessions, okay. So, I mean, I think obviously the board members can ask you any questions. My thought process here is to give an additional 60 days at this location is what I'm kind of thinking, because he just started. I don't know if there's a lot here to evaluate at this point in terms of any detail. Unless you have anything directly to say, I'm going to make a motion to approve you to 1240 Harvey Street, apartment number 2, for an additional 60 days.
Okay.
At which time then you would come back and hopefully have some more detail in terms of on the letter of how you're doing with your treatment program, and so we could get a better evaluation.
Do you want like specific details or like?
Go ahead.
Number of sessions, how often you've been.
Have
so,
you completed assignments?
How many times per week?
Yep.
And what the treatment is specifically addressing.
So I've made a motion to approve him for an additional 60 days at 1240 Harvey Street, apartment number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and vote on that motion. And again, thank you for getting it started, which I think is what's important. I can understand sometimes it takes a while to get it.
Yeah, they apparently they did a whole switch over to a new group facilitator, so it took a while for them to even see me. So it took, I think it was like June 25th, and then we had the holiday, so we didn't get back to the PO right away, and it took 3 weeks for him to get back to him. So it was like a long, drawn-out process.
Okay.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, great.
So you guys want the number of sessions, what's being addressed,
And how many
group?
times per week?
Okay.
Or is it every other week? Things like, you know.
Okay, it's once a week, but I'll get him to write all that in the letter though.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, our next meeting is scheduled for September 11th at 4 p.m. If there is anything else anybody wants to add today, if not, I'll ask for a motion of adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
No, I actually have something to discuss.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is kind of a weird thing, but anyway. There's been a guy staying on the end of my street, and I know he is a sex offender.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a guy at the end of our street that's a sex offender, staying.
And it didn't, I mean, he's been there this is going on the 2nd year, and sometimes I walk past there, but I've been trying not to, because last summer he comes up to me and says, because he lives with his girlfriend and her kids, and he said to me, "Oh, I'm only here temporary," and I thought, why would you tell me that? Oh, that's what he said, you know, so I know he is, and then I looked him up, or tried to look him up. There were so many, I kind of gave up, but he's still there because the kid likes to come over and pet my dog. I don't really want him to know where I live.
I would suggest we adjourn.
Yeah.
And do this not on,
No,
This is being recorded.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, yeah, that's right.
So, we have one motion for adjournment. I'll make the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.